We talked with Nick Mueller from the Stewart Peterson Group Thursday morning about the outlook for grain markets for the rest of December and then into 2013. While there's obvious and much publicized economic uncertainty before January 1st, we started by asking Nick how much of an effect that could have on grain markets.
I think it can have quite a bit. Right now, if you ask me my opinion of the overall economy, I'm concerned like everyone else. But I don't think just having a concern of a slow economy affects grain markets. I think tight ending stocks overrule that. But I do have a concern of the fiscal cliff. I think you've seen funds liquidate, especially in the bean markets, off concerns of the fiscal cliff. And now it's wait and see. If we go over, I think it hurts all grain markets with investment money pulling off, kind of a risk-off situation. If we don't go over it, I think there's buying to be had from money they took out of that market already.
Does the length of it, I mean, if they don't strike a deal until the end, does it impact it at all here in the next week or two?
I don't think so. I think the money's been taken off the table, to account for that risk, and now it's wait and see.
I went back and watched our interview from last year's show, and it's ironic because at that time, you said the common question you were getting was if producers missed their highs. And at that time, we didn't know about the drought that was going to be coming this year, which was obviously something that was of historic proportions. But this year, is that almost the same question? Have you missed your high going into 2013?
I think it is, and I think, that might be the question we have every year at this time. Personally, I think we're forming a near-term top in the markets. I would expect a pullback through December. We still have export competition out of South America, and it just feels like the market's a little exhausted at the top of this range. That being said, barring things unforeseen like a fiscal cliff, I don't think we've missed the highs yet. I think there's going to be opportunities yet through this winter. I think China's demand has not slowed, and I think we need to ration this tight crop.
That was my concern because a lot of analysts believe that the spring high would actually probably surpass what we saw so far. So you think that is still an option?
Absolutely.
Yeah. In corn as well?
Yeah. Especially, I think, again, more than anything, we need to put premium into 2013, given the drought that's going to continue through this winter. I still think the opportunities for 2013 are new highs.
If South America does do well, they're just kind of putting it into the ground now, just getting finished in some areas. When could that really affect the market, bean market we're talking here, obviously?
I don't think till late spring. I think so. I think there's this window as we get through January 1st and probably the end of January where February, March timeframe, we're really just going to be trading our market, is really what I believe. And I think this is a crop that needs to be rationed, and it's going to provide opportunities for producers yet.
What range does corn have here? I mean, it's been sort of stagnated here for a while. What moves it?
What moves it is a decrease of competition on the export market, which I think happens, again, towards that end of January. The demand is still out there. I think the world needs to still secure grain overall in beans and corn. And that competition is just not going to be out there late in the first quarter, and we're going to be the ones to provide it.
Before I ask you about old and new crop advice, what are you expecting to see from acres? Informa is expecting a huge number in all three commodities of corn, soybeans, and wheat. What's your expectation?
I agree 100%. The acreage question, it's a good question. We talk about it a lot right now, but mostly because there's nothing else to talk about. It all comes down to yield for production. So yeah, I think everyone can expect huge acreage. Doesn't mean we have a bumper crop,
Old crop advice, corn and soybeans?
If you want something sold before January 1st, I think you got to be doing it now. Otherwise, be cautious. I think we make new highs, but be cautious of the fiscal cliff. That changes the game. Be cautious of Europe. That changes the game, and probably be cautious of Israel. That might be a game changer where we see some risk off in the markets.
New contracts or contracting the new crop, when do you start to think about that?
Well, we just missed it when 2012 put in its highs. We had some orders working and they just missed. I think you gotta, it's hard when a producer looks at his ROI or even his ROA, it's hard to look at 640, 650 corn going into next year and not feel like, as a responsible producer, I should be doing something. And I think you do need to be doing it, I think at a very small percentage. And I think you need to be looking at option strategies that give you a 640 to 650 price floor and a $7.50 to $8 price ceiling. And that's what we've been working with our producers on, is using those options, because we do think we'll see higher prices, but being responsible, we still need to be starting to average a good price.
And what about soybeans?
Soybeans, same thing, absolutely. Small sales, small forward contracting, there's a good return on investment there. But if we can use option strategies, we'll be working with them on that.
Quick question on wheat, if I may. This drought that's currently decimating the crop, really, can that drive the market for a while?
In the near term, I don't think so. I think this market is really getting stagnant, like you said, with the recent run. I don't think it's ready to break into new highs. Again, we get through the first of the year, into that first quarter, absolutely.
December crop report out next Tuesday. Any surprises there? Any major market movers you foresee?
You never know. That's usually when a surprise comes. I don't think so. I think the trade just wants to get through it, and then I think you're going to see the market buying dips on anticipation of a large decrease in harvested acres, especially for corn on the January report.